welcome you all. Today's Krishi Gyandeep Knowledge Lecture Series 26. We used to conduct regularly by inviting eminent personalities across the globe and for sharing their own lifetime experiences. And these experiences will be captured and we are sending these experiences to across the world also. And mostly the professionals from agriculture, allied sectors, developmental sectors, and NGO sectors. So many resource persons or eminent persons are joining with us, and they are sharing their experiences also. And the participants are mainly from faculty from Manage, Department of Agriculture, and our own participants from the same institution. Likewise, so many participants we are inviting to interact with the eminent person. And these lecture series will be recorded and uploaded into Managed YouTube channel and also social media to reach these YouTube material, YouTube videos to last mile extension worker. And mostly more than 1 lakh extension functionaries, these these films are reaching to more than 1 lakh extension functionaries also. And mainly these extension functionaries are from international and international extension functionaries we are sending. And these videos are very helpful for them to use for their own experience and for their own day-to-day activities also. That's why these Krishi Gyandeep Knowledge Lecture Series are very useful for the extension functionaries and the farming community at large. And they are utilizing these experiences for their own development. And today we are very much privileged to invite Honorable Madam C.S. Ramalakshmi Garu, IFS, retired. And today's topic is on self-help movement, what next? Madam started this self-help movement in a big way in Andhra Pradesh. And I am very much fortunate to work with Madam during 2000-2001, particularly on new dimensions of agriculture, and manage in collaboration with rural development. We worked with Madam, and we conducted so many programs, particularly for all district women SHG leaders used to visit Manage. Around 100 and 120 are going to visit Manage for 2 days, that's on Saturday and Sunday. And we had a very good interaction, particularly on new dimensions of the agriculture. And later on, these women SHGs, they have utilized these learnings and they are using for their own agriculture and developmental activities also. And one more thing, mainly on mobile-based video conferencing, we have conducted during 2002-2003 that time. And this mobile-based video conferencing across the Andhra Pradesh, we went to field and villages also, and we conducted programs mainly on new dimensions of agriculture and any problems relating to agriculture, and particularly for the SHG women. Thank you so much, Madam, for giving us some help and working on these areas. Thank you, ma'am. Once again, I am welcoming you, ma'am. Now I request the Director General to introduce the eminent personality, Madam C.S. Ramalakshmi ji, to our August gathering.
Honorable Speaker of today's Krishi Gyandeep Knowledge Lecture Series 26, Madam Ramalakshmi ji, thank you very much for accepting our invitation, sparing your valuable time, considering Manage as a family and coming here and spending some time. It's our privilege. Thank you very much, Madam. So my colleague Dr. Renukarani and all my colleagues who are present here, and I can see our Jai Jawan Kisan program soldiers who are undergoing training, then certified millet advisor program participants, and all my consultant colleagues. Many more people are there, and more than 1 lakh extension functionaries are going to watch this talk, actually going to hear this talk, get inspiration from them, this talk. So I would like to welcome all of you to Krishi Gyandeep Knowledge Lecture Series. So a word about Krishi Gyandeep Knowledge Lecture Series, why this is required. So we have more than 6 lakh villagers. In every village, extension workers are working with very closely with farmers. Agriculture is not same. Farmers are changing, agriculture is changing, villages are changing, policies are changing. Therefore, the way they extend the knowledge with farmers should also change, and change in what direction? When they work with startup, the direction of the change is different. They work with cooperatives, work with the groups, the direction of communication is something different. They work with the farmers producers organization, their communication pattern is something different. So they have to develop themselves in 360-degree. For that purpose, the experience not always comes from textbooks. Of course, they have access to libraries, Google, they can read many things. But when they hear the Man Ki Baat, that means the talk from the heart of the people, which comes from their life experiences, that inspire them and also give a professional experience and direction to their profession. So only with the objective of connecting last mile extension worker to best of the best professionals in the field of agriculture and related subjects, we have launched this series. This is the 26th talk in the series. So it is my privilege to have Madam Ramalakshmi to this talk. Just I will take 2-3 minutes for introducing Madam. When we think about forest, what is your imagination? Forest means dark, scary. You find lions, tigers, elephants, wildlife, snakes. You can't enter because you don't know what is there inside. So forest means it is a scary thing for an ordinary person. Nowadays forests are dwindling, therefore people are entering into forest. Just imagine during 1980s, 40 years back, the imagination of a forest was scary. That was the time Madam Ramalakshmi got selected as the first, the lady officer in Indian Forest Service. It was not a small thing. In fact, that was the time when people were searching for girl students in any graduation classrooms. I remember in my class, it was during 1983, only 7 girls out of 140 students were there. It is 0.5%. So, before that, 5-6 years before that, a lady from Andhra Pradesh writing Indian Forest Service examination, convincing Union Public Service Commission that a lady can also take this very adventurous job, do professional justice, and getting selected for the first time in the country. It's a matter of pride, not only to our state, for all the womanhood. You have opened a great aspiration, great hope for entire womanhood. So afterwards, Madam got selected and naturally posted to United Andhra Pradesh. Madam worked in Guntur, Karimnagar as district forest officer. Regular activities are there. But from the beginning, Madam identified herself with just not protection of the forest, but also management of the forest resources. She took a different path from the beginning. How forest can be managed properly, involving local population, so that they never get separated from the forest. So that kind of forest management practices were introduced by Madam, and she went on to become the highest ranking officer in Forest Department, Principal Chief Conservator of Forest. Later, Madam became Commissioner of Sericulture. Before that, Director General of Center for Forest and Natural Resources Management of Government of AP, and also Commissioner and Chief Executive Officer of Women Empowerment and Employment Generation Mission of Government of AP. But Madam is remembered for different reason. Not because the first woman lady officer in Indian Forest Service. She gave confidence to 80 lakh women in the state of United Andhra Pradesh by mobilizing them into 4.75 lakh self-help groups. When the entire world was thinking how to develop the women, Andhra Pradesh showed the way under the leadership of Madam Ramalakshmi. Bringing rural women out of their house is not easy. They have to take permission not only from their husband, from their father-in-law, but also from brother and sometimes from son also. So taking lady out of a house, making them into group and making then the president of United States of America, Bill Clinton, when he visited, the first thing what he did is talking to a richest woman, that so-called poorest woman in the state, because she was made rich because of the self-help group. And that kind of ecosystem was created by Madam Ramalakshmi. She, took up several responsibilities but worked differently. But when I just joined Manage, Madam, during that time, when you were working in rural development, I was just sharing with Madam, being a development professional, I used to look for new ideas of developing society and different stakeholders. Every day in newspaper, it was the pleasure to my eyes. I used to find some innovations in the newspaper. Always AP Rural Development Department, in the name of self-help group, they used to be in news showing the way for entire world. In fact, the World Bank president came, Wolfson, I remember his name properly. He visited all these ladies. So it attracted the attention of US President and World Bank. So that kind of development model was shown to the entire world under the leadership of Madam Ramalakshmi, and recognition from Government of India and Rotary International, JCs, Government of Andhra Pradesh, and World United, that is another organization, Lakshmaya Foundation, Greenleaf Awards, Woman of the Decade Award, there is a long list, Vishishta Mahila Purashkaram, Adarsha Vanita Award, and many more. But ultimately, what remains in our mind about the pen picture of Madam Ramalakshmi is the person who gave voice to 80 lakh women in the state and brought them into the forefront. Today, many people are Jilla Parishad members, market committee members, they are MLAs, they went on to become ministers. The people who joined SHG group then, such a revolutionary changes were introduced by Madam Ramalakshmi. I think we are privileged to have your time here, Madam. We would like to listen to you. Thank you very much.
Nice meeting you all. I also remember the faces of some of the friends from this institute whom I know, whom I meet. Perhaps not very often, but often in various forums. It's my pleasure to come to Manage today and talk a little bit about what I have done in my life. Thank you, Director Garu, for the good words spoken about me, but frankly, I don't deserve. Today, there are 2-3 words that are inspiring me after coming here and sitting here. The very word Krishi. Krishi is a word, agriculture, and Krishi is a Telugu word that is you work hard persistently to get success to reach your goals. Krishi unte manusulu rishulu avutaru. If you make work consistently, you become a rishi, you become the most knowledgeable person. Jnanadeep is a knowledge of light and lamp. And also the very word knowledge. Knowledge is power, no doubt. In my 36 or 37 years of very active service, I have seen how giving knowledge to a person, making them aware of their own surroundings and making them aware of their own self, how it can transform their lives. This is the lesson I have learned first by observing, by seeing, by working with the women first and also farmers later. I have, a great interaction with these both types of groups, including youth, of course. And then that brings me perhaps talking about a great subject. When I have to talk about this subject, I have to look back. I said 30 years of experience, direct and indirect, and what can happen after 30 years from now. I don't say 30 years, but there is a journey which we all perform. They all have performed in 3 decades. They have performed a journey which has got some only commas. There are no full stops. I cannot really imagine what is going to happen in the next decade or 2 decades or 3 decades. But however, I have some feelings. I have some vision which I am going to place it before you. That is going to cover self-help group movement. That is going to cover what next? First of all, I have to talk about the movement. Anywhere the word movement carries the power, the energy, the dreams, the aspirations of a large number of people. That is what is called a movement. And this self-help movement, basically we are all self-help driven. We do our work, we would like to develop, we would like to progress, we would like to grow, all this there at an individual level. Besides individual levels, there is also a communion, a community of people called a group. For example, today manage all the employees of a manage, all the stakeholders of a manage are a group. And you have your own aspirations and dreams how to develop this organization, how to serve the people at the best. You have your agenda and action plan and aspirations. Similarly, these groups of people, these groups of women, at some point of time, they were all awakened by, in 1990s, a program which most of you are familiar, called Total Literacy Campaign, Aksharasyata. They were all, first they got knowledge, they were awakened under the broad program called Total Literacy. And then, in which they were told that the government has revenue stream, the government also has an expenditure stream. The revenue comes from the expenditure made by the individuals. Government gets revenue, source is from the expenditure made by the individuals. If you buy soap, if you buy something, there is a tax, there is a GST. Now we call it a GST, but the government gets a source. Ultimately, it is coming from the people only. Government is not a tree that produces money, that gives money. So it was told to them, and they all understood this concept and they raised their voices against drinking of alcohol by their husbands. Because drinking of alcohol doesn't stop with drinking alone. After that, what kind of actions or atrocities that are committed on the family members, especially the wife, I don't have to tell you. You all know very well. And this has triggered the women coming together for a cause. The cause is that we don't want alcohol to be sold by government. It may be a revenue, but we don't want. They came together, they raised their voices, and government listened to their voices and put a total prohibition. It was not possible to implement such schemes like total prohibition. It cannot. But however, it has created a platform, a movement called anti-ARC agitation. It is like an independence movement. And then after that, some taking the experience of non-governmental organizations like Myrada, some of you have heard these names, Pradhan, in 1985, they have started, the NGOs, they work for a cause. And they started making these women as self-help groups. Self-help is basically for poverty reduction. Those people who are poor, those people who are weak, only can come together. Those who are rich, those who are elite, it is impossible for them to come together. Look at our own houses. Your son or your daughter in the present day generation, they don't want to share their passwords of their cell. They don't want to share their rooms with you. They are very, very individualistic. But the poor has a necessity to come together because they have to fight against the systems in bureaucracy, systems in political areas, systems everywhere, the corruption and so many things they have to fight. So the weak has a necessity to come together to become strong. So that is how the women came together. And some taking the experience of NGOs, some government departments, I was fortunate enough be there in that particular department. During that time, it was my fortune. Time. Apna time aayega, like mera time aa gaya at that time. And then I joined and I used to visit these women. Now that the husband is not drinking, why don't you save some money for your future? Not for the sake of anybody else. I used to see old women neglected by their own children, sleeping outside the home. They were not given proper food because they have nothing to, fall back. After some age in life, the husband has passed away and the widow, I have seen their sufferings, and I used to tell them, like, we all plan for our future, we are all pension, we have the pension after retirement, you also have to work for your pension. This is the message. And for that, you have to save today. That has appealed, and fortunately, I joined this movement in 1993. And during that time, banks are very difficult people to convince. They have RBI guidelines, NABARD guidelines, so many guidelines. They go as per text guidelines. Okay, they started opening accounts to the self-help groups, which are informal groups. They started opening the accounts, and the ladies put their money into the account. And some people used to tell me, this is all madness, Lakshmi, how poor people can save. I said, women can save. You give her 1 kilo of rice, she can cook for 10 people. You give her a bucket of water, she can run the family with the 1 bucket full of water. I used to see in districts like Anantapur, they have, the drought prone districts. Today's situation is different. But those days, they have some 4 pots of water stored in the house and they run the family for a couple of days. So women have the greatest power to save for future. I strongly believe in that. And that kind of a savings movement, they used to see their money growing in the bank. 1 rupee a day make them 1 lakh. And by seeing the success, not listening to professors like us, no. They see their success, their neighbors, they see their neighborhood, their own house, somebody else's house, collector visiting, MLAs visiting, minister visiting, some Bill Clinton talking over video conference. These are all the empowerment things they used to feel. Why can't we see the Prime Minister of India? Why can't we see the MLAs? Why can't we see the collectors? Collector is coming to my house, it's a dignity. They used to ask the first thing, believe me, sometimes they used to, from the savings amount, they used to buy chairs because they have to offer chairs when you go to their house. So this has triggered the savings movement, the exposure, the knowledge. That's why I like the word knowledge. Krishi Gyandeep, knowledge is a great word. So the kind of an empowerment and access to people, talking to people, getting exposed to the outside world. Believe me, in 1993, 94, we used to give them television sets. Not free of cost like what we do now, no. It was their 50% contribution, another 50% from the government, little money. And we used to, because they're all illiterate people, see the television and understand what your leaders are talking, what is happening outside the world. This was a kind of giving knowledge to the people who are highly illiterate. But today, situation is very, very different. For example, if I look back the history, I worked in 2 departments, basically farmers and broadly covering farmers and women. Having done this savings movement by the women, the bankers were too happy. They see their savings So many savings account and so much of money. The bankers are very happy. The latest incidents I would like to quote in Pileru of Chittoor district in Andhra Pradesh. One bank was closed because it was not having any money and they don't have any accounts. It was full of defaults and all that. The bank branch was closed, not the bank. Okay. Then about 200 women self-help groups in that village, they went to the manager. They asked her, sir, please don't close the bank. We have 200 women, 2,000 people. We put all your money in the bank and we put all our savings in the bank. You provide the services. The bank branch got opened. So this kind of things which we do not imagine in our life can happen. At some point of time, my struggle was to ask the bank manager. The bank managers used to avoid me. If I go to a bank branch, they will say that the lady is going to ask for loan. So let's not entertain her. But today, the same bank manager comes to a group and give his diary, his calendar and everything. Situation is totally, a reverse. 360 days, 3 degrees. And then, this kind of money. My dear friends, three decades of history has brought 1.6 crore families in India to a platform called self-help groups. 140 crore population, 14 crore women are the members in this movement. 14 crores. And out of the total groups in India, more than 80% of these groups are women. Others may be youth, youth may be also women, others may be farmers, maybe women, some farmers, but 80% of them are women. Women alone may be weak sometimes, but together they are strong. That is the concept. So they see their money growing, bankers helping, the bureaucracy is promoting, encouraging, and also the political people found the great canvas, vote bank, and the political people started supporting. It's not me alone, no, the whole lot of people. It's like Jawans we have here. I was told that there are retired army Jawans, I call them the women soldiers. They have come together and the movements were built up. Everybody's support they are seeking. And result is that we have what is called Millennium Development Goals. You all know very well what is a Millennium Development Goal. The impact I have seen and witnessed, it is also recorded, is that the women understood the importance of savings. They have money. Initially, they used it for consumption. Later, when the money grew, I used to interact with them, said, we don't want money. We want ideas. That is where Renuka stepped in and she was giving ideas. Manage. And they want ideas. They wanted to make money, they wanted to get engaged themselves in an activity, and they wanted to get economically empowered. Social empowerment has already taken place. First of all, they used to send their boys only to school, and later they send their girls to school because they have money. And proudly they used to say that we are sending our children to English medium schools. They think that English medium is the best, Quality of education, eating well, nutrition, and quality of education, reducing the age of marriage, taking them to total immunization programs. So many things have happened. Even I remember one day, some youth went to a village in Mehboob Nagar and they were eve-teasing the girls in the village. And all the women caught hold of those boys and went to their college and gave a complaint that, these boys, some, social service kind of a, organization, they went and eve-teased the girls and they came to the college and said, these boys are misbehaving. But however, they are like our own sons. Just give them a warning and leave them. Don't disturb their education. Don't suspend them. That is the heart of a woman. And this kind of things they were doing. And during COVID, you must have read, because I share the latest. You must have read in the newspapers and also in the media. They were the one, when the entire world was having so many wrong notions about COVID, they were the one going to the community, create awareness, bring them to the vaccination centers, get them vaccinated, and also make masks and also the protection shields, etc., etc. They were engaged in the income generation activities. At the same time, they were also raising public awareness on COVID. I have also seen them how they have raised public awareness on HIV/AIDS. So this kind of things they were all engaged in. Okay, that is one aspect of the story. But the story, what happens is that when you have a life, you grow. At the same time, when you grow, you also get sugar and BP and other things. I have to now talk about the diabetes and hypertension and other things, which generally happens, elections after elections, when the political people find these groups as a vote bank. First time the political people started talking about women. In 1985, I have seen one political party gave 15% reservation to the women in Panchayat Raj institutions. I used to see the girls from the college, girls from the universities getting elected as a sarpanch, ward member, and mandal level, block level, district level, because there is a quota for the women, 15% quota, well educated women. They used to come to me like the students, I was like their professor, teaching them how to assert, how should not be like a token. When Rajiv Gandhi introduced 33% quota, there were no women to contest the elections. Then the self-help groups women contested the elections, because I used to tell them that if you as a leader can manage a number of groups in a village, you can as well become a sarpanch. You take the support of your own peers. 10,000 women from the self-help groups got elected when the 33% quota was introduced through the constitutional amendment. Then, now it is a 50% quota. Though not in the current election, maybe the current election, the seats are going to be more seats, and certainly in the next election, the women are going to occupy their political space, not only as a tokens, but be assertive. If the women are elected, what happens? She is more interested in rural roads. She is more interested in water. She is more interested in the girls' education. She is more interested in preventing the social crime, preventing the domestic crime. So many things happen when the women leadership is good, and the elections can be made not totally corruption free, but reasonably corruption free. Today, women do not contest because it involves a lot of money. And her failures are not accepted at the household level so easily. Be it an enterprise, be it an election. Men's failures are accepted. Men get support because he has a wife to support when he fails. But the same men, I am sorry to say, you may or may not agree, will not support when his wife fails. Very few men, of course, support. This is the reason they don't want to become entrepreneurs. They don't want to become, political leaders. But however, the women I am talking about have made their journey. They have struggled. Today, there are very many entrepreneurs. I see them going to Delhi, going to Calcutta, going to Bombay, going to Sri Lanka, going to Thailand, going to even United States of America to sell their products. They go with a confidence. The woman who has not moved of the house, she has not even seen the headquarters today. I myself, when I was in the department, made 2,000 passports for the women. During that time, the passport officer was so kind. Maybe, I don't know, when I used to give a recommendation letter that the women has to go to an exhibition in some place, Malaysia, Thailand, or Sri Lanka, he used to give immediately passport, and the mobility is an indication of empowerment for a women. Mobility. And then cell phones. Today, I don't have to talk about. Everybody has not one cell phone, they have some double SIM. I don't know why people use two SIMs, and double SIM cell phone, and they know how to use the cell phone, how to do business, how to use the internet for not only for cooking, for also building enterprises. This kind of a digital revolution, digital payments are helping the women to become self-confident, self-empowered, and become good entrepreneurs. They get income. When they get income to the family, the husband who was looking her down, the husband who has deserted her, has come back. I can give millions of examples. The husband who has deserted her when she was not having money, not having confidence, has come back. Okay? Seeing her, as you said, seeing her success story in the newspaper and also in the media. I know those stories. So, empowerment cannot be really said. There are so many multiple definitions of empowerment. Like I always believe in success breeds success. When you have money, banks have come forward, political leaders have come forward, everybody is more than UNDP, DFID, IFAD, all these organizations were competing to help these women self-help groups. That is one side of the story. But there are organizations created exclusively for these self-help groups. Organization called National Rural Livelihood Mission, NRLM. And they have the state missions, SRLM. They also have an outfit in our neighboring institution called NIRD. The NRLM wing is there. So they have also built a large network of employees, professionals, building the capacities of these women. They have done, no doubt, lot of work. But what happens over a period of time is that today, the women today in the state of Andhra Pradesh, I'll give because I have the statistics ready, the latest report ready. Their savings is about 15,000 crores. And the banks have given a loan of 13,000 crores. Today, the banks have started using these savings as a kind of a collateral, informal collateral, and they give loans. Added to that, the governments have given interest-free loans. Interest-free loans. The banker is very comfortable with the back-end subsidy. The interest comes from the government. The people do not have to pay. The women take a loan. They don't have to pay. The interest that has triggered the bankers and also the women take more and more loan. And the large number of machinery created under SRLMs and also NRLMs, they spend all the time mobilizing loans. They are not spending much time on how to utilize this loan. This is the problem. And today, the need of the hour, what next is, the need of the hour is that we have to work with the professionals. The women groups are now big. They have a lot of money. 15,000 crores is not a money. They have their own savings, and also the loan that is taken from the banks has to be properly utilized. That is where I see the idea generation, the training, the capacity building, involving the corporates, involving the private sector, involving the professionals. Today, the groups have the capacity to engage professionals. They have money. They want ideas. So, the federations, the cluster federations all over India are about 50,000 cluster federations, clusters. Okay. And out of these 50,000 cluster federations, 10,000 federations are very active. They have money. Today, in the agriculture sector, the new word is the Farmers Producers Organization, FPOs. FPOs, building an FPO is a long-term strategy. You need to bring farmers together, maybe the crop, the inputs, outputs, vagaira, vagaira. And then creating an FPO is a long-term strategy. It requires a lot of effort But we have somehow forgotten to look at these cluster federations and identify them, further nurture them as FPOs. I feel we have to work in the direction, because every time we don't have to dig the foundation, we can always build on the foundation which is already laid and having a track record of 2 decades at least. Why can't we utilize this huge human capital, huge social capital, which is having a track record for making sustainable FPOs? Think about it. And second thing, social empowerment, there are very many facets. The Millennium Development Goals, Sustainable Development Goals, they are doing a good job and the job will continue. And the challenges still remain on the social crime and also many cyber crime, social crime, making good use of the internet, so many things. Well, money is there, but ideas. If we don't give ideas, generally, there is a very interior district. Those who are from Telangana, they know Komaram Bhim district, Asifabad, very tribal area, part of Adilabad district, where the cluster federations, it is not an agriculture example, but I still would like to give. They don't have theatres in Telangana, rural Telangana, especially tribal pockets. The theatres are not there. Now that the OTT is also spreading to rural areas, but they have built a mobile theatre made out of plastics, and totally air conditioned theatre. They spent something like 20 lakhs in partnership with a distributor who will bring, films to the Asifabad. And today, let me tell you, because of the interior area and the films they can see, these federations are making very good profits and they are able to give those profits to the members. One of the problems we have in the cooperatives is that the top dominates, the members, the board of directors, all these people dominate. But today, we need to build these cooperatives as member-centric, women-centric, women-run, women-managed, self-regulation, self-control, self-management. Not a few government employees try to have control. Today, we create systems. If you create a huge system on people, on communities, what happens is generally in the government, it is very easy to control. It is very easy to dominate these federations, because the federation leaders would like to sit next to you. They don't identify themselves with the member. They forget their roots. This is the problem. Everything looks very rosy, very nice from the top, but the bottom, that link is missing. We have to work in the direction. That is what next. And then create that kind of a women-centric, self-controlled, self-managed. I have to say, don't feed them. Teach them, enable them, empower them. And in the process, you become small. You give them a space. That is what next. Are we willing to give the space? Are we willing to shrink? We need them for our own survival. I need my job. I need promotions. I need growth. For the growth, I need these 2 crores or 3 crores women with me forever. This is the unconscious attitude of the people working in the organizations. We are not willing to give that space. It happens. It's a human psychology, but that is what next as far as the institutions are concerned. I'm talking about basically government institutions. And the political institutions, anyway, with their doles, with their loan waivers, make these groups also become NPS, non-performing assets. It happened in 2019, but people have recognized that, by giving more loans, today there is a thing that by giving more loan to a non-performing asset, you make it appear like a performing asset, because government's interest is assured. and they also have their savings. It is a safe banking proposition. So this is one aspect we have to take care and see that, first of all, use your savings. When they were young, they were use their savings. Use your savings first, and then they have created a women's bank. That women's bank is also having the members as board of directors. But again, the women's bank is keeping the group's money in the bank, and they feel that the interest money is their income. Interest can never be your income. You have to create income by generating an activity, not by depending on. That is what, generally a retired employee like me, I put my savings, I put my pension and get that interest and I live on that. For me, it is okay because I am retired. But when the group is there, they have to make good investments, and they just cannot put their savings and earn income. There is a bank called Srinidhi in Telangana and also Andhra Pradesh. It's nice to see the word women's bank. But the bank is also doing the same thing. They take the savings of the women and give them interest. Perhaps, we have to tell Srinidhi that don't remove their savings and give them ideas and activities and help them. The federations, again, like the FPOs, instead of acting as financial intermediaries, they should help him in marketing, in building insurance, in branding their products, and bringing their, the corporate, the private sector network. They have to link the groups. They have to perhaps, beautiful housing projects they can make instead of eternally depending on government for housing. When somebody doesn't give a double bedroom, he's out. Somebody doesn't give a house, he's out. No, you have to build your own house. You are financially, your savings is there. Why can't you utilize the savings for house building? The visit of the World Bank president, Wilfenson, when he came, we have a housing project for the women self-help groups that is called Gruhini. Gruha means house, and Gruhini is a housewife. Hindi and all languages. And the housing department, they give their subsidies, women put their savings, bank give a little bit of loan, women build their own houses. Grihini. But again, the government comes in a large way. Don't build your own house. We are here to give you subsidies. We are here to give you food. We are here to give pension. Don't do anything. This kind of policies will kill the enthusiasm and the self-help of these women. There is a danger always. Sometimes we in the system feel that we are helping, but in the process of helping, we are disturbing. Last but not the least, we also have ranking. Who does best? And your performance is based on loan recoveries. Everybody, if you recover loan, you are very good. They don't see the rest of the facets. They have to see what is the outcome, how a woman is empowered. Can she raise the voices against injustice? Can she raise the voices against crime? Is he willing to help the neighbors when they are in need? Is she willing to empower the girl child? Is she willing to teach good manners to her son, how to behave with his wife? So, this kind of outcomes, there are very many outcomes. We have to, when you are looking at a woman, how she is empowered, there are various facets of women. Political empowerment, economic empowerment, social empowerment, empowerment at home, able to think logically, able to take decisions, all these things, these are all the outcomes and outputs. The ranking of these groups is generally done in a very mechanical way based on loan recovery. Everybody is repaying loans. But these aspects have to be built in ranking the groups. That is what next. And then when there is money, we have to build a very good financial system, the auditing system. Beautiful auditing system is built, one audit by the groups themselves. There is a simple, what is your income, what is your expenditure, what is the profit, how do you share the profit with your members. That's an audit, simple audit by the group themselves. Second audit is the cooperative audit because these groups are registered under Cooperative Societies Act, cluster federations. And the third is some of them also engage a chartered accountant and get the audit done. The proper auditing has to be there because we are talking about 15,000 crore saving and another 15,000 rupees bank loan, 30,000 crores in one state alone is a big money. Without audits, there is every possibility that the money will be misutilized. So proper auditing systems, the digitization of the accounts is the need of the hour. They have computers, they have institutions, but I see a lot of confusion. Data is not available. Nobody knows what is happening. Proper auditing is one thing. Then, there is no end to capacity building. We are all, students, lifelong learning, we call it. Lifelong learning. The capacity building which was there earlier somehow is missing. Continuous capacity building, continuous monitoring, continuous encouragement of these groups by the grassroots level functionaries at all levels, it is important. Today, the grassroots level functionaries, they go and come for the meeting of so and so. If you don't come, we will cut your subsidies. That's not an encouragement. We will excite them to attend the meeting. Sometimes they used to say that, I used to ask the women, don't bother to attend the meetings. They said, no, we will come to the meeting. We will like to meet our ministers, chief ministers. We would like to talk to our prime minister. Please teach us English. Their aspirations. So, English speaking, Hindi speaking, more than 2,000 people went to Jammu and Kashmir and told the women how to face the terrorists, how to create a peace in the society. And they used to go to all four corners of India, some 2,000 trained community resource persons. They are like soldiers, let me tell you. They are willing to, fight against Pakistan or any other country. They have different agenda when they go to states. They go, stay there. They eat roti, which they are not used to. They speak in Hindi. If you see their videos, they speak broken Hindi. They speak broken English. They try to communicate. They inspire them. They make groups. They try to create so many aspects and create awareness. They are any day best Gyandeep workers, I'll tell them. Community resource persons, we call them. Okay. And then like that, we have created in all areas insurance by them for them. When a person dies, immediately 5,000 rupees is released for the funeral rites. This kind of beautiful systems in insurance, in financial systems, in income generating systems, in social mobilization, in also giving, when there is a widow's husband suddenly died, the in-laws do not give her property. The groups having the legal knowledge, they go and work with the family and ensure that the widow gets her property rights. This kind of beautiful things, the foundation is already laid. So we have to work further and see that the best practices are multiplied. Today, we have Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala, of course, Kudumbashri is a very popular name, and Maharashtra, Bihar, especially people in Bihar doing extremely well. And even states like Assam, the collector talks about one district, one product. 30,000 or 40,000 women growing mushrooms and supplying to all over Assam. And some groups in Northeast, they said that they grow strawberries and those strawberries are coming to the outlets in Hyderabad. Meghalaya, strawberries. So, this kind of success stories are readily available. People, women groups in Telangana, they handle paddy, they procure paddy and maize from the farmers and they get good income. But today, we can make use of these people for greenery, for raising plantations, nurseries, especially organic farming, climate resilient agriculture. We are all interested in these type of areas. Education, health, organic farming, climate resilience, water harvesting more than anything else. They were doing all these activities in bits and pieces, but this is the time that organizations like manage, you please adopt some villages and work continuously with these groups on sustainable agriculture practices. चाइल्डहुड में हम सब लोग पढ़े थे INM, NPM वगैरह वगैरह. Really, that is the need of the hour. You nurture them, women centric nurturing, women controlled, women managed, for bringing changes to really, I think today everything is available at your doorsteps, but life is not safe. People are not having peace of mind. Two reasons: that we are the most unsatisfied people, having all the luxuries in life, unsatisfied, there is peace lacking at an individual level. Peace is also lacking in the society. Society is based on caste, based on religion, based on language. It is divided on many, many. But when the groups I have worked with, I used to feel that the women is the caste, women is the religion, women is everything. It's the women. Women for the women, by the women. So that used to be the thing, but today, again, all these divisive forces are entering into these groups, which we have to safeguard. That safeguard we cannot do by putting our hands, but by creating awareness, by giving them that kind of a knowledge, by providing that kind of a leadership is the need of the hour. They are into dairy. Srija Dairy in Tirupati having 40,000 people as their members. Srija in Tirupati. NDDB collaboration. Somewhere in paddy, somewhere in maize. They are doing great jobs. They are doing their best. What we can do is only to trigger, motivate, inspire, give our voice. A person like me today, I can't do anything other than giving my voice. Perhaps to give that kind of an encouragement, there is a great future. I also worked in the silk department. I only coined the word called silk for the women, by the women. Because women like silk. Silk has become a daily wear. At one time, it was only for weddings. Men are also wearing silk. In the fashion industry, it's all silk. Very romantic thing. So it's all by the women. And also to recognize, constantly recognize their work, we need to have a system of awards and rewards. We should not forget to reward people. Unless, your wife will not be happy, unless you say the food is good, she will be very happy. Next time she will cook, much more tasty food. If you say, no, be silent, she will not be motivated, no. Similarly here, give them awards, give them recognition, give them rewards. They will be doing really their best. I feel that is our duty. Our duty is only that. And I'm sure an organization like Manage has a great role to bring the women, lot of areas in fisheries, in sericulture, in agriculture, allied sectors, because you deal with a whole lot of sectors, poultry, because women like small things, silkworms, ram lamps, vagera vagera, all small things. She can take care of the small things, like she can take care of their own children. She has their specialization. Build on their specialization women are already having. And FPO is a great opportunity. This is the future. Everybody is supporting. You also become a partner for change to take the moment further. I stop here. Thank you for your kind patience to listen to me all the time. If you have anything to add value, you are more than welcome. Thank you, Director Garu, for this opportunity. Thank you, Renuka.
I am Dr. K.C. Pungurmat, Director Monitoring and Evaluation,
Oh.
and I am heading FPU Academy. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks for giving insights about this SSG. because you got many dimensions into SHG. Otherwise, the notion is, there are units for savings. That was the notion which we had so far. You cleared the things in this deliberation, madam. Regarding conversion of these SHG clusters into FPO, in the amended Act of Companies Act in 2002, there is a provision.
Yeah.
Madam, biggest challenge in formation of FPOs is there are two things. One is mobilization of the farmer.
Yeah.
Second thing is there is a concept of equity contribution in the Companies Act.
Yes, exactly.
Instead of reinventing the wheel,
Yeah.
aggregation,
Correct.
we can make use of the existing groups and
Yeah.
it gives a greater sustainability to FPOs because the biggest concerning thing in FPO movement is sustainability. It's a big question mark so far what we have seen in 2 decades.
Correct.
So we are working on that. Point what I am trying to make is, as you said, woman is a power. Woman can lead our country. These models can be emulated because what I have seen is Muluknuru is a successful one, but we have not seen another Muluknuru.
Correct.
Amul is a success story, but we have not seen one more Amul. So how to emulate? That is a big question mark. So I leave it to you. You can suggest some strategies on that.
See, every organization, just to comment on that, every organization has some growth phase. If you look at Amul today, yes, Amul is available in Hyderabad, all over India it is available. But that member centricity which was there originally is now lacking. They have become totally commercial orientation. They go and sell the milk everywhere in India. But the Amul is created for the women in good. They have a catchment. I really do not know after this Amul has a corporate how much they are able to service the members. I have no idea. I have no information. But just I am leaving the thought to you. Maybe you can study. For example, a farmer's family giving milk to the Amul company. How much, like the original Amul story, how much they are able to get the benefit, I really do not know. I feel that the member centric focus is missing because the growth is beyond. What happens is that the numbers, the spread, the economic development is very, very good. It's very nice, like self-help groups. Oh, it's very nice to say that 14 crore self-help groups. It's like a image creation, a big brand creation. But we have to live up to the, unless you have the focus on the members, whatever we do, it is not going to sustain. Sometimes I feel that, after seeing all this, I feel is sometimes small is beautiful. Sometimes, you do silent work and, really get sustainable results. But talking about huge numbers, the focus is missing. It happened in the self-help groups. It is happening left, right, and center. I told you the banker story. I told you the government story. All these things. But I agree with you that we always need to create on the existing systems. And another thing is that, generally when we work with the women, just to add, we don't look at her family. Most of the investment decisions are taken by wife and husband. When we talk about women, we talk about women only. When we talk about farmers, predominantly we talk about men farmers. I have faced this problem when I worked with the farmers. First time, believe me, I went to every household of the farmer and brought that lady to the meeting. I said, unless you come with your wife, I am not going to talk about what I am going to do in this sector. First time I brought. And we have a training institution in Mysore. I said, you are not only training the farmer, 90% of the farmers are men only, they were training. I said, I am going to send his wife also. You are just in the budget. They don't need great luxuries and all that. You are just in the budget and I am sending family. Because most of the investments are taken by family. Decisions are taken by family only. Unless you influence both, he will simply undergo training, come back and wife will say, no, I cannot do all this work and it's a risky investment and all that. So, not only that, when the women go with their husbands, they get very excited to see the place outside. When they go to Mysore, they go to some temple, they buy a silk saree. That's the kind of a motivation we have to create. And the family enterprises I have seen, Be it the food processing, especially in the food processing, I have seen a husband having a small job in a private sector quit their job and help his wife in creating those food processing enterprises. Be it a pickle, be it a papad, whatever may be it a mushroom, the husband helps. And family units are more successful. Sometimes she is going to a market, he goes to a market, doesn't matter who goes to a market, but the enterprise is more successful. And in the marketplace we have to create facilities for the women. First time I remember, I used to build toilets in the marketplaces, and digitization, giving them information, and giving them a place where in case they have to make some night halts, all the women can have sleep in a place very safely, because when the women comes out, there are a lot of problems at the family level. So this kind of issues are taken care. Women will be too happy to sell their products because they know very well husband brings only 90 rupees out of 100, whereas she will bring 100 out of 100 after selling the product. So that is the secret.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving us this valuable input. Particularly, you as a whenever you are going to discuss with us, we are thinking that you are also one of the member of within the group. That likewise you are mentioning. It's very nice deliberations we heard, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I request our Director General to give us valuable remarks.
Sharing of your feelings, life experience straight from your heart, because it came straight from the mouth of the horse. So it was really touching. Thank you very much. In fact, I was just recalling myself watching Srimantudu film for the second time. It was something related to rural development. So when you started speaking, starting from the drunkard husband beating wife, till one of our colleague told, after sensitizing, he asked money from them as a loan. So this is the transformation it was unfolding in your story. But let me share another thing. When you introduced midday meals for 60,000 children eating food every day, midday meals is known to everyone, it is not a big thing. But involving SHGs for cooking for these children, that created sustainable job for around 2 lakh women. So the schools will be there forever, children will take the midday meals forever. These 2 lakh people cook for their own children and get the money. And not only it is their job, they put their heart, love and affection into the food what they are cooking. One more thing you have not mentioned, that is working on a public-private partnership and linking women for marketing purpose with giant like Hindustan Liver, those kind of organizations. Otherwise, a women living in a remote village and Hindustan Liver, they are totally unconnected. They travel in different direction. But this movement brought these two people together. So when I think about next, quickly I will share one or two examples. I was in Madhubani for some exhibition, very remote place, Madhubani, it's in Nepal border. So Madhubani Mithila painting is very unique. I saw some painting. Then during that time, by chance actually, I received a call from one of my classmates. She settled in US and she is a professor. Where are you? I said, I'm in Madhubani. So what? Madhubani paintings. I was just in the shop actually. Then she showed a lot of interest. I gave phone call to the madam who painted actually. And they exchanged numbers. Now that US professor is going to Madhubani and collecting some paintings and organizing a Madhubani paintings exhibition in US. When you're told our job is we can't help them more, but give them voice. We can't do, millions of women are there. I don't think we can, giving them 100 rupees, 1000 rupees, we can't sustain their life, but give them voice. What next? Another example, this Saturday it happened. Just went to a visit village called Timapur. So we had our interaction with people, and when I was coming, there was a sugarcane crushing unit. So I just stopped. One single lady. Surrounding place, not even a single person is there. Only one lady, aged around 35 years. So she was standing there. So I just stopped and wanted to talk to her. Then I had sugarcane juice. I asked how much it cost. 30 rupees. How much you get per cup? 10 rupees straight away. So every day in lean season, she can sell 100 cups, and in peak season, 150 cups. So she says, whenever winter comes, I am scared because people don't drink juice. So when the summer picks up, the number picks up. I just asked her, what next? Same question. She said she is maintaining a QR code. Anybody who drinks milk, this sugarcane juice, you can pay. I also took the joy of paying through QR code. She said, my next target is I will give a voice backup, a speaker to this QR code, because some people they do like this and they go. Afterwards, I realize that they have not paid. Now, if I have a voice backup that says that 60 rupees is paid, that is a confirmation for me. So they also discover what next sometimes. But only thing, somewhere beginning has to be made. Of course, in agriculture, what next? There are plenty of opportunities are there. Today, drone Didi. So for drones they are distributing. Of course, it is very futuristic. They will be trained as drone pilots. They will take up, pesticide spray. And Kutumbashri is very close to, I think, everybody's heart. They have done wonders. Starting from stray dog management to mosquito control, working for Panchayat. Today they are managing fitness centers and agri-tourism units. But what next? Plenty of things are there, but there is a lot of food for manage to think. But you have triggered the button. So thank you very much. It was a wonderful talk which touched every one of our mind and heart. Thank you very much, madam.